Break it down. It's a Smackdown.
What is up, guys? You are now tuned in to the Friday Night Smackdown post-show community discussion live here on the Casual Wrestling YouTube channel. I am your host for the night, the notorious Nerdy D, joined by my beautiful and talented wife, Level Up Lauren.
What's up, y'all?
And if you are new to the community, this is a participation show. We want you guys to drop your opinions and questions in the chat, starting off by giving me a 1 out of 10. What did you rank Friday Night Smackdown tonight? Having said that, this is a podcast, so if you want to support the channel and keep the lights on in the studio, you can do that by grabbing a YouTube membership for the channel for just $2.99 a month, which starting next week will get you the ability to watch the Nerdy D Pod live on Wednesdays. That will be the only way to watch that show is if you are a member of the YouTube channel. But if you don't want to become a member, you can drop a YouTube super chat, which moves you to the top of the chat and immediately gets us talking about what you want to talk about. Housekeeping this week, Bash at Berlin VIP watch party will be Saturday, August 31st during the main event of the show, and then we will run after the main event doing a post-show analysis and reactions. So if you've got nothing to do in the middle of the day next Saturday, you can hang out with us and watch Bash at Berlin. All right, Lauren, let's start the show with the segment I'm calling The Good and the Bad.
Ooh. All right, I'm ready. You good?
Yeah, we're good. It's a transition.
Is it good or is it bad?
You're talking during my transitions.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know. My bad.
All right, so good and the bad. I'm going to drop on y'all something I thought was good, something I thought was bad. This week we're going to start with bad because I think there was definitely more bad to talk about tonight than there was good. So let's start off tonight's show by talking about Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes limping across the finish line. They limped us across the finish line. Thank God that Bash at Berlin is next Saturday because we have been so pigeonholed by the booking towards this show. Now, when I look at this card, overall, not a bad card. It is a fan service card. It will be a fun night of wrestling watching. But it's a fan service card. It doesn't do anything as far as giving us weekly television that's interesting. We're just in holding. And it was proven tonight. If you want any example of what a fan service card does to weekly television, look at tonight.
Yeah.
We limped across the finish line as far as Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens are concerned. We limped across the finish line. That, I mean, no turn. We ultimately didn't get a turn, even though they teased it. They used that as the hook to keep us watching all night. They teased the turn at the beginning of the night. Then ultimately, we don't get it. Ultimately, we end up with the same place we started. I saw somebody in the chat say before the show started, nothing happened tonight.
A whole lot of nothing.
So if you look at SmackDown, there was wrestling that took place, but nothing happened tonight. No real stories were pushed forward other than just events happened. Things happened. We got a main event. We got a cold open.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, the turn is kind of back in play now. Like, okay, so we are going to go against, we are going to turn Austin Theory babyface at some point against Grayson Waller, even though this has been the longest, slowest babyface turn in the history of WWE. But this KO and Kevin Owens situation is, look, the match will be fine. It'll be a good match at Bash at Berlin. Kevin Owens will probably turn at Bash at Berlin, or he will begin to start the beginning transformations of the turn. But it's fan service as far as I'm concerned. And it's hard. It's hard to be excited watching a show that we ultimately know where this is going, right? We know where Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes is going. KO's not winning the world title at Bash at Berlin. We really know where Randy Orton and Gunther are going. Randy Orton's not winning a world title at Bash at Berlin. So this is fan service. This is holding us over. We have to endure this so that we can get to the build to Bad Blood.
Does that make it like AEW then?
What do you mean like AEW?
Well, don't you always say that AEW is like fan service? They just do whatever the fans want?
No, this is fan service in a different way.
Okay.
This is not the AEW style of fan service, which is more in tune with like no storytelling, just flippy flips and like appease the people who like the flips and who like the no selling and things like that. They're still telling a story here. Don't get it twisted. This is bad by WWE standards. This is not bad by wrestling standards. We've just become spoiled in the last month or two to expect these big payoffs that now that we get this fan service event and we have to rebuild up some characters, we're spoiled. That's what this is. But we talk about the good. One of the good things, and let me preface this with, it's never good that the thing I'm about to list as the first good thing that happened tonight was announced off air. Wasn't announced on show. I got this information. I got this news before they said it on Smackdown. Okay. And that is Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will be getting another tag team title shot at Bash at Berlin, kind of rounding out the card. And as I'll look at the card a little later tonight. But as far as I'm concerned,
why wouldn't you say that on air?
They said it on air, but it hit my news feed which means they made the announcement off air, then they made it on air, which is fine. But to me, when that's the good I'm taking away from the night, is that at least we're going to get Bianca and Belair and Jade Cargill back into a title scene. That's not a great thing about the night.
I know you were excited tonight because Bianca was back.
Well, no, not necessarily because, I saw someone say it looked like she was rushing everything. It feels like because she's not getting an opportunity to wrestle that she is in there going 100 miles an hour. I thought that Jade Cargill looked extremely good tonight as far as wrestling goes.
She was my pick for tonight.
So I'm not talking about baddie of the night right now. So when I say looked good, I'm speaking in wrestling terms. So when I'm talking about Jade Cargill, I think she slowed down a little bit. I think she's starting to understand, or somebody in the back starting to understand, that you book Jade Cargill like the Big Show. Slow her down. Big kicks, choke slams, big tosses. She doesn't need to go 100 miles an hour, where Bianca Belair can do that. Bianca Belair does have the skill set that she can turn it up and go fast. Jade Cargill is somebody who benefits from a slow, methodical space or pace because physically she's imposing. She looks like a Big Show. She looks bigger than everybody. It is believable that she can just outpower everybody in the ring. So I thought Jade Cargill looked good. But like I said, when the best thing I can take away from the night, one of the top things, the good that I have written down here is that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are getting a title match. That says a lot about the night. It also scares me because here we are once again. What's going on in this women's tag team division? What was the purpose of ever taking the tag team titles off of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill if we were just going in this huge circle getting us back to another match with Dental Control?
So literally every time that I see them on the screen, I start laughing because that's all I can think about is dental control, and then I imagine these big old teeth.
started laughing because not one of those three could make the baddie of the list night. Not one of. I looked at it. I said nope. I said I could put Jade. I could put Bianca on the list, but there's nobody from Dental Control that's making that list tonight. They need to step their game up. Ryder says that they put the tag team titles on Alba Fire because her mom died. I hope not. I mean, because because titles aren't charity, and I know that sounds harsh, and it makes me sound like an asshole.
Was her mom like a wrestler or something?
No, her mom died like right before the event, and the event was in it wasn't France. Where was it?
Europe.
Yeah, it was one of the. It was Scotland.
Okay.
It was Scotland. Bobby Sherwood says Alba Fire is a baddie. Not on my list. Not on my list.
I
She's
never
not.
heard about it.
But yeah, so look, I know I sound unsympathetic, but titles are not charity. They're not made to make somebody feel better. And the fact is that right now, outside of tonight, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are sitting on the bench, not getting to wrestle on a weekly basis, and you have Dental Control wrestling night after night, kind of proving that some of this argument about Triple H, there are divisions in the WWE right now that are confusing to me. And I'm praying that we're not heading into Bash at Berlin and we're not using Bianca and Jade as a stepping stone to introduce the stud line back into this story and Damage Control. And if Jade and Bianca walk out as tag team champions, cool. I'm fine. We can go whatever direction we want outside of that. But if they're just there to get cheated out of another title opportunity, get them out of this division. Put them in another storyline. Stop having them get cheated out of tag team titles, because that's played out at this point.
Do you think this is like almost like a everybody has to participate thing, or you think that he does have favorites for Triple H?
I don't. So someone brought up the other night that Triple H definitely likes European wrestlers. And I think that's becoming slowly apparent that I don't know that necessarily it's European wrestlers as much as Triple H likes the idea of global marketing, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have champions of all ethnicities and from all countries, so we could touch every different kind of group in the world. Somebody said tonight in the Discord, have you noticed, and it is a little tiresome, that all these factions are race-based?
Yeah.
And to me, and
we got the smoke. I mean...
So yeah, you had Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits with B-Fab, right?
Yeah.
You have Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. You have Santos Escobar and all the Mexicans. You have all the European girls in Dental Control. It was Ryder. Ryder was the one who brought that up. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a very, very good point, because WWE is doing this thing where they're building these factions in an old school way, which is fine if you want to do that, but they're not acknowledging what they're doing, right? Yeah. They're not saying that all of the Mexicans are in one group. They're not saying all the black girls are siding together.
What's Bailey's old group's name?
Damage Control.
Yeah. You said them, right, or no?
No, I wasn't talking about Damage Control. But Damage Control is similar, but they would be a little bit of the idea that like different races can come together and form a group, right? And Judgment Day is the proper example of a group of just kind of ragtag misfits hanging together and becoming a faction. This idea that like factions have to be all one race is kind of played out, unless you're going to lay into the idea of like, we are this and we represent something about this race. Just doing it for the sake of doing it, I don't love. Dead Chef says, what about Awesome Truth? I think that's more of a tag team than it is a faction. I think we're talking about faction, taking like 3 or more people of the same race and going, we don't know what to do with you, so we're going to put you all on a team so you can wrestle together tonight because y'all all kind of look alike. I don't love that. The other thing I don't love that we can talk about tonight is the Temu bloodline. The Temu bloodline is starting, like, that was a joke at first that people were using, and I laughed, but I wasn't behind the idea. But it is apparent now that when Roman Reigns is not on the show, this bloodline is going to struggle to get a point across. You're trying to tell me that last week they took out Roman Reigns. That was their big thing. Then this week, they took out the Street Profits and DIY. There's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. Solo claims he wants a world title, but he had an opportunity. Roman came back and screwed that up. And instead of continuing to focus on Roman Reigns, it's just this Temu bloodline is a mess. This Temu bloodline. Yes, I heard Bobby Sherwood. I heard the you can't wrestle chants. And I know, yeah, Ryder says he's a known Solo bloodline hater and he's validated every week. I've kind of put up with Solo Sikoa because I've always assumed he's a means to an end, right? Mm-hmm. So Solo Sikoa has always been to me the placeholder, the pawn, the rook that gets us to our ultimate destination, which is we want to see Rock and Roman. That's where we're headed, and Solo Sikoa is supposed to placehold to get us there. But it feels like all of a sudden Triple H has decided that he's going to make Solo Sikoa like a queen, like, you know, like a more important piece on the board.
Yeah.
He's like, this was an interesting night to have the Street Profits lose to the Bloodline after taking the belt away from Jacob Fatu, which by far is the star of this group. And I understand he's got a walking boot on, but he's running around the ring kicking people. So if he's good enough to do that, I hope he's good enough to wrestle. I just, like, for the sake of me right now, and I will continue to be patient because Triple H has a way of somehow weirdly bringing these things back and getting them to where they need to be. But as of right now, Temu Bloodline is officially not interesting when Roman Reigns is not on TV. And I think the problem is, before Roman came back, there was the anticipation of Roman coming back. Okay? And so the anticipation of Roman coming back made us all excited about that idea. Now that Roman has come back and we have to watch the Bloodline minus Roman Reigns, we realize this isn't fun. This is not fun to watch on a Friday night basis. If Roman's not going to be there, they have to find something more interesting to do with Solo Sikoa in the Bloodline not defending tag team titles. The tag team title division on SmackDown, once again, is back in fucking shambles. It's back into the bullshit. We had gotten out. Triple H had gotten both sets of titles out of bad situations. And he's drugged them both right back in. He's put them right back into the factions. It's almost like Triple H doesn't understand how to book these factions if they're not holding some title in some form or fashion. Yeah, no, I agree it's on both shows. That's what I was saying is that he takes these tag titles and you have a decent amount of good tag teams, and then you take the titles and you stick them in factions that you seemingly want to be important, and then you get yourself in booking situations where, how do I get the tag team titles off of these guys? Because I get it, it's hard to explain a Bloodline loss tonight, but the problem is the tag team division would be much more interesting if tonight was the Street Profits versus DIY for the tag team titles. That's a match I can get behind. But I can't get behind the Temu Bloodline defeating the Street Profits. What are we doing? What are we doing with Montez Ford? How long are we going to drag Montez Ford through the dirt? Montez Ford's a superstar. You see him flip over the top rope? The way that, like, the things Montez can do. Good. The things Montez can do, no other superstar in the WWE can do. Carmelo Hayes can't do what Montez Ford can do. Dragunov cannot do what Montez Ford can do. I'll go one farther. Braun Breaker physically can't do what Montez Ford can do. Montez Ford is a freak athlete, and he's losing to the Temu Bloodline and the guy who used to wear a pirate patch, who, by the way, was way more interesting when he had a pirate patch on.
Agreed.
We took the one thing that made him interesting away. What are we doing with the tag team divisions? I mean, here's the question is real now. Does Triple H just not know how to book tag team wrestling? Because the women's division in absolute shambles. The men's division on Raw, probably the best of the three, but still not great. And then the SmackDown tag team division is absolutely in trouble because how do you get... I thought there was a chance they were taking the title off of Jacob Fatu to protect him. You put Tongaloa and Tama Tonga in the ring, and then somehow something happens and they slip up and they lose the titles, and now those titles go away. Solo gets to be angry Solo, and we can go on two different directions. But the fact that we ended up with the Street Profits getting beat tonight doesn't make sense to me.
Do they feel kind of just like jobbers?
Yeah. I mean, you could start making the argument right now that the Street Profit are high-level jobbers. They're being jobbed out. But you can make that argument from almost every tag team at this point. Tag teams that are legitimate. DIY can be a legitimate tag team, but we buried them by having the Bloodline beat them. And so the problem is you never had to put them in the ring together. It's not that the Bloodline, it's not that Jacob Fatu beat them, because I'm fine with Jacob Fatu beating people. The thing is, you didn't have to put them in the ring together. You never had to do that.
And can they come back from that? Like, are there any jobbers that have ever been like jobbers but
So
then
they're not-
become champions?
they're
Like,
not-
in I'm not saying they're jobbers, but like in WWE history,
They're fine. They're fine. A couple weeks of good booking in the Street Profits are fine, right?
But, like-
they're not in trouble of.
is there anybody who's done that?
Yeah,
who,
sure. I mean, look down the roster. There's tons that were jobbing out.
Give me examples.
I
like
I'd
to
have
ask those
sit
crazy
down,
questions.
I'd have to sit down and think. But there's been plenty of people go from jobbers to like 2 weeks later. They're Sami Zayn.
Oh,
great,
true.
Sami Zayn, great thing. One week he was getting held up by Brock Lesnar, and they were basically telling the story that it was impossible for Sami Zayn to beat Brock Lesnar, and then like a year later he's part of the Bloodline and winning and almost beating Roman Reigns, right?
That's crazy. I always wonder, like, what is it that makes them change their mind, or is it like just who they like? I don't know.
No. I mean, so a certain amount of wrestling is cyclical, right? You have to go through your lows to get to your highs. I understand this part of wrestling, right? If you win all the time, you become John Cena and people get tired of you despite how good you are at what you do. The reality is you have to lose for a while, right? Bianca Belair is definitely in a low. She won for almost 2.5 years straight. So we need a break from certain people, but there has to be light at the end of the tunnel. There has to be ascension back to the top. And with the Street Profits, I don't see it. With Montez Ford, I don't see, like, they're not dropping hints or seeds that, like, somewhere down the line, this guy's going to be a main event superstar. What you said is right. It starts to feel like, oh, we need a tag team to job out. Here, grab the Street Profits. We could use them. They'll do it. I mean, I get that somebody has to make other people look good wrestling MV, but I don't think you have to do it forever. It's cyclical. You're supposed to have your highs, then you go through your bumps and you take your losses, and then you're supposed to circle back around, and at some point you're back on the rise, and that's what makes the wrestling exciting, is that your favorite wrestler will have their moments where they're on top of the mountain, and they'll have their moments where they're underachieving, and you've got to stick with them.
And those are exciting because I remember like being so mad that like Bianca Belair wasn't winning, and then when she finally won, it felt like I won.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're talking about with like the Becky Lynch stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just putting my
that was all
feelings towards
booked
what you were
superbly, right? It was Bianca going through a struggle. She can't get over the top. She finally wins, gets over the top. Then she has this 2.5-year reign where she is just super dominant. And by that time, people are starting to get tired. They start to go, all right, Bianca just wins. She's boring, right? It's inevitable when you're champion.
Yeah.
That's why Roman Reigns is so impressive, that you could do it for the amount of time.
How long?
Over, was it 3 or 4 years?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, like that to me, that shows how impressive that is. Because people get bored with you extremely fast, and so yeah, you got to go up, you got to go down. One of the other good things I took away from tonight was the LA Knight Open Challenge, which they just kind of snuck in. Once again, these are things that I don't think Triple H understands the impact of, that could have had a kind of bigger feel, yet it's stuck in the first hour, kind of hidden in a backstage segment, and it's almost kind of a throwaway moment. It's almost, and if you really want to be honest, it feels like a little bit of padding for Bash at Berlin, because when you look at Bash at Berlin's card, very predictable. You can kind of go down and go this. So this gives you that element of surprise, right? Because they're not going to tell us who the opponent is. So when we get to Germany, we get a surprise. It's just kind of built in. What were you going to say?
I'm not going to lie. I totally forgot. Like, I had it at the tip of my tongue, and then I tried not to cut you off because I know it's a bad habit, and blank. But I'll think of it randomly, so I will cut you off.
Okay. Well, yeah. But that, to me, that was a good it's not John Cena. It's not going to be John Cena in Germany. My belief is it's one of two people. It's either going to be Ludwig Kaiser or it's going to be Ilya Dragunov.
I remember. Okay, so I must have skipped that part. I just saw LA Knight come out. What happened? They just said that like you're going to...
He was walking through the back.
He got to keep the belt. I know that, right?
Yeah, he won his title match against Santos Escobar, which is the last thing I have to talk about, but I'll get to that in just a second. He was walking through the back after his match. Byron Saxton approached him. He did his whole, like, you've already said too many words. And then he basically cut a promo where he said, I'm going to go to Berlin. I'll be there. I'm going to defend this title. Open challenge. Whoever wants it, come get it, right? Doesn't matter who it is. Ilya, they're saying Kaiser would be so boring. I don't know. Kaiser's good in the ring, and you need somebody. Here's the problem, right? First off, Kaiser will appeal to that fan base. That's what you have to understand. Kaiser will appeal to the German fan base. Secondly,
Ludwig Kaiser, right?
yeah. Secondly, this is somebody who has to lose. Mm-hmm. So you get into a tricky situation where you know this is a surprise. It's got to be a little bit of fan service, and it's somebody who's got to lose. Because I saw somebody say Da Vinci, right? I don't think you bring Da Vinci out right after you're kind of rebranding him and have him lose to LA Knight. Don't think that's what you do, right? I saw someone saying John Cena. John Cena's about to go on a retirement tour. He's not coming out and losing to LA Knight. That's not happening. So that's not what's going to happen. It's, to me, I think it's Ludwig Kaiser's is probably my best odds. I think Ilya Dragunov is somebody who could sustain a loss. He could afford losing in a really good match to LA Knight, but I don't know if I want Ilya Dragunov just racking up these losses this early in his main roster career.
True, because then you don't think of them as like,
it's just
you
were talking about like you were talking about like jobbers. The deeper the hole you dig, the farther it is to get out. That's the best analogy I can use. So if Ilya loses to Sami Zayn or loses to Braun Breaker or loses to LA Knight, that hole keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's possible, it's always possible to dig yourself out. But the reality is, do you want to dig Ilya Dragunov his hole deeper and make it more difficult? Whereas someone like Ludwig Kaiser, he has no established...
I don't care if he wins or loses.
Exactly. He has no established pattern or anything. He literally is just kind of a sideshow to Gunther right now. Mm-hmm. So he can afford that loss no problem.
True.
The long shot here is Logan Paul showing up.
Okay.
That's a long shot.
All right.
Is Logan Paul showing up with like lawyers and things like that?
Do you think it would be Logan or what's the name that would win?
It depends. I mean, it all depends on if Logan was really, if Logan really wants to be back and wants to stay involved in WWE. One way to make him a big time heel would be to have him come out and do something sneaky, a lawsuit, give the match a real weird stipulation, and beat LA Knight and regain that title and kind of be like, you fuckers thought I was gone? Oh no, I'm still here and I'm still champion and I'll defend this thing in December. I'll see you guys in December. People would be pissed. I don't think that happens. I think that's an extreme long shot, but it'd
be exciting though.
It's always a possibility. It's always something that can happen. The last bad I have to talk about tonight is Santos Escobar. A guy that I was so big on a year ago. I thought there was so much potential. And just all of a sudden now, you talk about jobber, we had him win an opportunity at the United States Championship only to see his entire crew thrown out before the match starts, and then just in a half decent match where he lost clean to LA Knight. What's next for Santos Escobar? Now he's going to start feuding within his own group. Like, that is the bottom of the barrel for me. Legado del Fantasma had so much possibility, and it's I've said this a numerous amount of times. Rey Mysterio has this effect on people. It's hard to get over when you go against Rey Mysterio.
Kiss the ring.
And so Santos kind of went against Rey Mysterio, and he just hasn't he hasn't been able to get. And one problem for me with Santos Escobar is he's like the happy-go-lucky bad guy. We talked about this last week. And
I spilled your drink. Do you need a napkin?
This is going to be kind of a theme moving forward that I use, and that is heels are supposed to be supervillains. Now, supervillains come in different shapes or sizes, right? You have your Bronson Reeds, your King Kongs, your ultimate bad guys, your Thanos, your Thor, your Thanos, your Ultron.
Yeah.
Those guys. But you can also have sneaky, like the Riddler, right? Like the Joker. They can be a little more devious, a little more plan-based. Santos doesn't feel like any of that. Santos feels like a good guy masquerading as a bad guy. It's what it is. It's like someone told a good guy to be a bad guy, and he's not gritty enough.
Yeah.
And
Like
what he
cringy?
needs to do is he needs to go back and he needs to watch videos. And Alberto Del Rio, definitely not a great human being at this point, based on some of the things I've heard, but he
Yeah.
was a good heel. He was good at being a good Mexican heel. He needs to go back and watch Eddie Guerrero. And he needs to take elements from those guys that allowed them to be strong Mexican heel presences. Because right now, Santos' identity is being the leader of a Mexican faction, but
Yeah.
that's kind of where it begins and ends for me.
What was I going to say? Did Alberto Del Rio only speak Spanish, or did he speak Spanish?
No, he spoke English and Spanish. Alberto Del Rio, I say this all the time. I don't, I try not to get into the personal lives, and I try not to let that affect what I say about people's wrestling. Was one of my favorite bad guys of all time.
Yeah.
He was so good at attracting heat, at getting the crowd to boo. I remember in San Antonio one time, it was a house show. He came out and he just ripped like Mexicans apart. Like, you guys are fake Mexicans. The Spurs suck.
I was like, isn't he Mexican? Why is he talking about
But
us?
he was like playing the elite level Mexican is
Yeah.
what he was playing.
Like the
And so-
Mexico Mexicans?
Yeah, so he laid
Right.
in, and like I had never heard a wrestling crowd like, I think someone threw a cup. Like it, and that to get somebody to throw it, like he was just generating a level of heat, and Santos has to get there. But the problem is, and I don't know right now, this is a question I ask. Is this a Triple H thing? Is Triple H creating pussy heels? Is Triple H afraid to let heels be bad guys?
Men be men.
Because is this why MJF looked at WWE and went, not yet, can't go yet, because they're not letting us cook.
Yeah.
Now, with the Netflix deal around the corner, is Triple H holding on to some of this and not allowing people to do what they can do until they get to Netflix? That's the question. But when you talk about supervillains, you talk about bad guys, Santos Escobar just doesn't fit the mold right now. He needs to be able, just like I say, same things I say about Gunther, right? They got to find that bad guy energy. They got to find that villain energy. It is not okay to just kind of be middle of the road. And I know we hear this all the time. People talk about, well, they're a tweener, right? They're not a baby face. They're not a heel. They're in between. That doesn't
Then
work.
you're nothing.
That doesn't, like, there is a small percentage of people who can walk that line. And we always hear like Stone Cold. Do y'all understand how fucking good Stone Cold was? To be able to walk that line, to be able to be not full babyface, not full heel. Now it feels like that's what everybody, I'm just me, bro. I'm just me turned up to 11. Well, you're fucking boring. Like, cause maybe you need to go get a fucking cape or something, because look, Austin Theory, prime example, right? Take everything away from Austin Theory that makes him Austin Theory, and now he's vanilla white guy number 7, and he's not interesting.
No. Sometimes I'll look real quick and him and Grayson Waller look like the same person.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
he just
they
glanced really
are.
quickly.
That's why they have a little bit of a problem with them, right? Grayson Waller literally just stole Austin Theory's gimmick when he came to the main roster, and that devastated Austin Theory. I
Yeah.
agree with what Wrestling MV says. Being a heel is more than just turning on the crowd, but there's a presence. You have to. Bronson Reed is nailing it. Bronson Reed is nailing it right now. He feels like a bad guy. Roman Reigns, when Roman Reigns was in the heat of his heel run, he felt like Thanos, right?
I hated
impossible
him before.
No, I know, but it felt impossible to beat Roman Reigns. And you would see people on the internet going, Roman can only win because of the bloodline. Yes, that's supervillain. That is villain energy, right? Like, it's inevitable. You have people upset because they can't crack the code to beat you.
Yeah.
And right now, Santos doesn't he's not giving me that energy.
Not giving me that it.
And so, yeah, I saw Ryder said this is why we need a monster Randy heel turn. I think they have to. They've got at some point in the next
Randy Orton?
Yes. Sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks, Triple H has to put heels on the fast track because he doesn't have outside. Who do you have for Cody? Who do you have for Cody? You got Kevin Owens, which I'm assuming they're going to stretch this out to Bad Blood. I'm assuming that the reason we didn't get a turn tonight is because KO's turn is going to happen either at Bash at Berlin or post Bash at Berlin, which leads to then the rematch of Cody versus KO with KO a heel, which will be fun. I admit that will be fun. That'll be interesting. Once again, that's why Bad Blood's so much more interesting than Bash at Berlin. But outside of KO, what is there for Cody Rhodes? Who's the next bad guy? It has to be a Randy Orton. You have to start developing these supervillains because Solo Sikoa is not a supervillain.
But once again,
Jacob Fatu gives that energy.
It's an older guy that you're telling me. Like, who's the next in line? Like, who are they going to build up to that level?
I mean,
how long does Randy have left in him? I love Randy.
He'll go forever. Randy will go forever. But I don't. It's so being a heel is not as much of a skill as it is. A lot of it is just being booked correctly and then laying into what they give you. I mean, it is a skill. It's not a skill, but it's a certain amount of it is about booking, right? Like they booked Roman for 4 years to be the ultimate bad guy. That's how he was booked. Roman didn't really catch on until later in the run. He didn't figure out how to be Thanos. They pushed him along, and a lot of people will discredit him for that, but I say that's how you build a hill, right? Look at Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed's been around for the last year and a half. We've been watching him. He'd get a push, then they'd stop it. He'd get a little bit of a push, then they'd stop it. Now all of a sudden, it's outside of the wrestling. It's he's attacking people. He's taking out our favorite superstars. That's how you build a supervillain. It's what they're not doing with the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six should be supervillains. They shouldn't care about the rules, but instead, you have a group of guys who are just willing to follow the rules. Yet, they're like wearing creepy masks and shit. They feel like cosplay. They don't feel like supervillains. Their energy when the lights are off does not match the energy when the lights are on.
It's almost like the boogeyman. Like when the lights are off, they're scary, but like they don't commit to like the supernatural, any of it all the time.
It doesn't have to be.
I'm kind of confused. I'm not gonna lie.
It doesn't even have to be supernatural because so many people are against supernatural. What it has to be is when the lights turn on, they gotta cheat. I swear right now the Wyatt Six are listed as baby faces because Gable's the heel. And so the fact that the Wyatt Six are these creepy, crazy cosplaying motherfuckers, yet what? They're good guys? That doesn't make sense. Ryder says, I'm telling you, sometime soon Ethan Page will be an amazing foil for Cody. I think it's immediate, Ryder. I think Ethan Page is going to wrestle Joe Hendry at No Mercy for the NXT title. I think Joe Hendry's winning the title, and I think Ethan Page is immediately moving up for Cody Rhodes. I think we probably get that right after Bad Blood. That's what I'm assuming. I believe that to be 100% true. I think that you nailed that on the head. Ethan Page will be one of the next bad guys that we see. And Ethan Page has that energy. He can give us that energy. Especially, it's easier to build that energy with somebody that the casual fans aren't as knowledgeable about. Because what will happen is Ethan Page will come up, and the first conversation that will be had is, "Ooh, these are AEW guys. This is an AEW story happening in WWE." And all it will take is Ethan Page making 2 or 3 references to like Cody running away from AEW.
Yeah.
To then, all right, we've got ourselves a supervillain.
We're ready to fight him.
I agree. Ethan Page, very good on a mic. You'll get to see this, Lauren. This is in the works. That you'll get to see a supervillain in the creation.
True, because I don't know if I've really seen one. Just like Roman Reigns to me is the ultimate supervillain. Like that's who I imagine as a villain. Or like, was the Miz ever bad?
Oh yeah, Miz great villain. Miz like a Riddler, like a Joker. Like, so that's why I say there's 2 different types of bad guys, right? You got your Thanos, the overarching like unbeatables, and then you got your sneaky guys, the guys who know how to cheat. They know how to bend the rules and do little like sneaky things to get over. That's what the Miz was. Miz was really good at that. The Miz was, and being great on the microphone is great. Ryder said low key want to draft Ethan Page in fantasy wrestling. It's not a bad long shot. it's not going to be a bad long shot because I guarantee you they give him a microphone a lot. All right, so let's give it a score. Lauren. I'm
Okay.
3 out of 10.
I was going 4.
It's a bad SmackDown. Well, I don't go 4 because 4 on the casual wrestling scale is confusing.
It says that
And
it is confusing, or
yeah. So a 4 on my scale is confusing.
what is the number 3?
Bad,
Bad.
and then 5 is average. So
It
4
wasn't average.
for 4, I have to kind of leave it wondering what happened. Mm-hmm. I'm not one. It's clear cut for me. This was bad. When the best things
I'll jump on your wagon.
the best things I'm talking about is Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill getting a title match, and that happened off show. And I'm talking about LA Knight Open Challenge, which happened in a backstage segment. The wrestling wasn't particularly good. The main event was not particularly good. What story really got pushed forward tonight? Nothing. It wasn't unwatchable. It was
It was a
television.
whole lot of nothing, like you said earlier.
It's a whole lot of fan service. Like it
whole
is.
lot of nothing going on.
Thank God we are 1 week out from Bash at Berlin, because like this next week, Monday and Friday are going to be almost unbearable. I can promise you.
So they're not going to be pre-recorded though, right?
No. All right, let's drop into Baddie of the Night.
Let's go. What are we at right now? What are the cheers?
So you're going to have to learn what transitions are. You talk right through our transitions.
Oh, I didn't know when you were.
I set that up perfectly.
You did.
I set that up. I
fired.
transitioned us, and you just talked right through it.
I didn't see. I
I'm
didn't
going
realize.
to turn your mic off. I'm going to turn your mic off for. So I'm seeing this thing jump around.
What's jumping around?
the Baddie of the Night.
Oh,
I'm seeing the number jump around as we talk. So last minute votes coming in here.
what's going on? What's going on?
Ryder said nobody on the list was Zelina Vega, so 0 out of 10. Now, I mean, if Zelina would show up, she probably could have been Baddie of the Night, because I don't know. Who did you said you had Jade Cargill tonight?
That's what I picked.
Interesting.
I like Jade.
So, with 23% of the vote, Michin tied for second place.
Who else is tied?
Chelsea Green.
My girl. Who
Chelsea
got
Green.
first? Who got first place?
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill.
38% of the vote.
I know what the people like. You know, like Triple H should just ask Triple H. He should just ask me, and then like I know.
Well, I don't know that Triple H is promoting the Baddie.
Who are
of
the
the Night
baddies of the
award.
week?
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know that Triple H is. Now, what we should do is have the Baddie of the Week award in the Discord, where
Oh.
Monday night's baddie takes on Friday night's baddie for the ultimate baddie of the week.
That is true. I like that.
So if you're not in the Discord, jump in the Discord. We'll drop a poll for the ultimate baddie of the week. Wrestling MV says Bianca was smoking hot tonight. I didn't think so. And y'all know I'm number one Bianca team
You
Bianca
are.
fan. She kind of looked like a child in the gymnastics onesie.
Is that what that was?
They were all wearing Simone Biles Olympic outfits.
Okay, I thought that they were going for an Olympic look, but I wasn't 100%
They
sure.
all had on different. I'll drop the Discord link in the link after the show, Bobby, so you can hop in. They were all wearing different versions of Simone Biles outfits. That's what was going on there.
All right.
So, I would have picked Michin, I think, tonight.
All right. She was my second choice.
I
but
think Michin.
I just saw Jade Cargill, and she just has a freaking presence. That's
She
what
has
I
the presence.
literally took the words out of my mouth. But
Yeah.
like,
I get it,
Superhero.
MV. I get it. If you thought it fit well, I mean, I get it. To me, it wasn't my favorite Bianca look.
I've never been with a better.
So who was Monday night?
Was it Chelsea Green?
No,
No.
that's way off. It's in the Discord. There's a banner
in the
up. I forgot who
Discord.
it was. Oh, it's
Look at the
Maxine.
Discord.
It's Maxine Dupree.
Ah, yes, I remember
So-
now because she
so-
wore that outfit that I thought was super cute.
In the Discord for Ultimate Baddie of the Week, we'll do Maxine Dupree versus Jade Cargill. Now, here's a question. With the limited amount of people on SmackDown, Lauren,
Yes.
it's possible we get champions that have little consecutive runs. Like 2 or 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row.
Oh, and our baddie of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
some people are just meant to be baddies, you know?
Now, I say, though, SmackDown's tough with Chelsea Green, Michin, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill. Those four at any given time can
You
flip
never know.
around. Yeah, those can flip around, and I'm not mad at that. All right, time for the last segment of the night. Going to transition here, Lauren.
I was quiet. I was talking to myself and telling myself to be quiet.
This is what we're going to start ending Friday nights with, called That's a Bad Take. All right, so this week's That's a Bad Take is simple. It happened about 6 o'clock today in the Discord, okay? Trying to enjoy my KFC. Trying to enjoy
That KFC.
We got a brand new Kentucky Fried Chicken. I tell you, when Kentucky Fried Chicken is good, it is good. And we've got a new Kentucky Fried Chicken, which means new soda machine. That Pepsi
non-sticky floors.
That Pepsi Zero is coming out crisp and cold, okay? We're talking all new fryers, all new equipment. So this is like level 10 KFC. Because if you have bad KFC will ruin your fucking week. You'll feel sick.
It's soggy.
Bad oil, old oil running through your veins and shit like that. This is brand new, opened like 2 weeks ago KFC. Second time we've been there. It's a hit. It's a hit. I'm gonna run with this KFC until it falls apart. Because inevitably there will be a day I go in there and it just smells different.
Touch.
Yeah, it just smells different.
Once the floors get sticky.
Once the floors are sticky,
you gotta get out of there.
It's definitely. But so while I'm in KFC, sitting in KFC, boop, boop, get a little Discord update. Boop, boop. Somebody in the Discord, okay? Look, I don't like to talk about people in the Discord. I believe everybody should be able to talk about whatever they want. But this person in the Discord rubbed me wrong because this person had attacked a couple other people, then run to me on the side and sent me a message that like he was getting beat up and bullied in the Discord. And then he just today decided to have a full-on conversation by himself with himself that he ended with saying the all-in card is going to make the Bash at Berlin card look like a house show. Okay? That's, number one, I don't even care that he thinks that. It's the way he phrased that, looking for a fight. But let's be honest. Let's break this down systematically. Okay? Because
Let's do it.
Number one, here's first point. This is like comparing apples to oranges, right? All In, notoriously one of the bigger and better AEW shows, whereas Bash at Berlin, we've gone on record, this is fan service, okay?
Yeah.
So bad comparison. If you want to compare SummerSlam to All In, I think it's a closer comparison in the scope of what we're looking at. But let's be objective here. Let's be fair. Let's look at the Bash at Berlin card, okay?
Okay.
And you tell me, outside of me saying this is fan service, let's look at this systematically as if these are what level? A house show? A house show. Okay? Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. That's a house show. It's going to be a hell of a match, Lauren.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great wrestling match. For anybody who doesn't have their thumb on the pulse of wrestling and know what's going on and kind of know the inside baseball, that's a great match.
Yeah.
If you believe that Cody or KO could win, that thing's going to be exciting, okay? Gunther and Randy Orton, another one, right?
Anytime Randy's there, it's good.
Because we know inside baseball, because we think we're thumbs on the pulse, and we're wrong a lot of times, but because we feel like we are, we think automatically, oh, well, this is just a win for Gunther, right?
Yeah.
But if you didn't know that, once again, this is a hell of a match. So this is now you're talking about KO, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Randy Orton. That's what's probably main eventing the night.
Yeah.
Okay? Then you have probably the best story. Exactly, Bobby. I'm about to get to this. You have the best story in all of professional wrestling right now. And we're just going to glaze over this because this is a house show thing. We have Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, who are the power couple of professional wrestling. Okay? Versus Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Now, this is fan service. I get it, right? This isn't the end game that we want, but this is still the most exciting story we have in all of professional wrestling. Let's not get it twisted. The Terror Twins and Dirty Dom and Dirty Liv is going to be a fun match to watch. Like, there's going to be shenanigans in that match. Definitely going to be excited. Then we get this beautiful little gem dropped on us that we got Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Dental Control. Go ahead.
I'm going to predict that Liv kisses Rhea at some point. I think this is going to happen.
Okay, probably way down the line. I could see
Well,
that.
it's going to happen, though.
Okay.
I foresee it.
Put that
and
on.
everybody's going to say.
So what we need a little board in there.
Lauren's prediction.
Yeah, we need a little board in there with Lauren's predictions, and every week we see if anything's happened. Because you know what? Not something I ever would have thought of, but I don't think you're wrong.
That's my wild hair.
I could see 9 months from now.
They both turn on Dom,
that's
and they're
where
like,
the story's
we're done
gone.
with you, whatever. Hey, girl.
Could happen. Could happen.
Yep.
But back to what I'm saying.
Back to the
We
point.
got Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, two of the most impressive women in all of wrestling, wrestling against Damage Control, hopefully winning their tag team titles back. That don't sound like house show shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like legitimate, good writers say get your mind out of the gutter. Then we got CM Punk, Drew McIntyre in a strap match.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, this is not house show shit. Like, you can't just talk out your ass. It is okay to like AEW more than WWE. Perfectly fine. You can be in the Discord, but you got to have some level of sanity. You can't just tell me that, because we're going to talk about this all-in card in just a second. We're going to talk about the matches. But you're going to tell me, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, that there's matches on this AEW card that rival that? Sorry. It's not true. It's just not true. And then, guess what? Just sprinkled on top, we got an LA Knight Open Challenge. Okay, so this is what the card looks like: KO and Cody Rhodes, Gunther and Randy Orton, Towers of Terror versus Dirty Dom and Dirty Liv, Bianca and Jade versus Dental Control, strap match: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, U.S. title Open Challenge, LA Knight. That's not a fucking house show.
It's still a pretty good card.
I don't care how big of a fan you are of AEW and All In, and you may think All In's great, right? The fact that you think All In is that much better than what's right there, you're insane. Every person in the world would be watching right now. Would be watching AEW right now if this card was what they said it was. Okay, so you want to hear what the AEW card is?
Yes.
Hey, Lauren?
I want to see if I know who it is.
It's Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson in a retirement match. Who's winning that?
Who's retiring, Brandon?
Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
He's not retiring. So just like the fan service of WWE, where we have Inside Baseball, Swerve Strickland's losing his title. Bryan Danielson's about to be the AEW World Champion.
And then he's not going to retire?
No, he ain't going to retire. Tony Khan's throwing a title at him to make sure he doesn't retire because he's not under contract. So that's what's happening there. Great, good match. Not mad at it. I'm okay with it. But it's not better than the WWE matches. It could be argued to be possibly on par with Bash at Berlin matches, but it's not better than what we saw at SummerSlam. Come on, man. Then we have Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker, which is one I would say I'm excited
would be
about.
interested in watching that one.
Sure. Great. Once again, that's great. Does it just overshadow everything on the WWE card? Not at all. No, it's not monumentally better. Like, once again, Mercedes Moné continues to fucking bore me. Britt Baker is exciting and interesting, but like, once again, it's just okay. It is what it is. But it's not. It doesn't make it look like a house show. The one that I see most people excited for is Will Ospreay versus MJF. So you got one. I'll argue you've got one. This is going to be the biggest match out of these two cards, and I'm okay with that. This is their big night. This is their SummerSlam. Is this match better than anything on SummerSlam? No, it's not. It's not. Get the fuck out of here if you think it is. It's not. Toni Storm versus Mariah May.
Who the fuck is Mariah May?
Don't know. Don't fucking know.
That's like I knew there was going to be people on here that I didn't.
She hasn't hit my radar, and if she hasn't hit my radar, then she's not connecting with the casual audience.
Me.
The Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed. Great. But I feel like I've seen some form or fashion of this. Like, it feels
What's
like
the
there's
median age of that one? That's what I'd like.
The age?
The median age
I don't
of
know
that
if the
one.
Acclaimed are that old, but the FTR and Young Bucks are pushing a little bit of age, I think. Bobby Sherwood says Mariah May is a baddie. Maybe she is, but she doesn't. The baddie doesn't get you to. I mean, this dude's talking like this card is WrestleMania, and being a baddie is not WrestleMania level. We got a casino gauntlet, which is a gauntlet match to win an opportunity at an AEW World Title match. Then we got. I didn't know what. I want to be politically correct here. I don't want to offend anybody.
Okay.
What do they call? We watched a reality show.
Okay.
It came on like the History Channel. Okay. And there was like Psycho was his name.
Oh, midgets.
You can't say that word.
I just did.
No, you can't say that word though.
I mean, like, well, what do you?
Micro wrestling, I think it's
Okay.
called.
But isn't it called like midget
No,
wrestling?
you stop. I'm serious. You're gonna like
Okay,
you will
I'm
get
not
us taken
trying.
off
I'm not
live.
trying to be mean, but like,
It's micro wrestling. It's little people. I believe they prefer the term little people. Okay.
okay, I apologize.
I wasn't aware that they were partnering with AEW for a match.
So they're wait, what?
Yeah.
No.
On AEW All In, we're getting a micro wrestling TNT championship match.
I mean, I would watch
Bobby
that.
Sherwood
Just
said
saying,
Dwarf
you know, like,
Warriors. I don't think that's it either.
is that what he's calling them?
Dwarf Warriors. It's micro wrestling. Did you know they were partnering with this company?
No. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a guy named Jack Perry. You know him.
I know who Jack Perry is.
Yeah.
Is that Psycho?
No, that's Jungle Boy.
Oh,
And the other one's
You're calling
and the
him
other
a
one's
bit-
Darby Allin.
I almost did it again. Yes, you're calling him the little person.
Yeah, but they are.
Yeah, they are little.
It's the micro wrestling championship match.
This is true.
Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy Jack Bitch Perry. Micro wrestling.
Oh, man.
I wasn't aware they made this partnership. Hell of a deal put together by Tony Khan to have
You
micro
made my
wrestling.
brain just go whoosh.
Yeah, what bone will Darby Allin break this time? Take a pick. Just roll a dice.
Did he break a bone last time?
He breaks a bone all the time. He get hit by
He's
a
got
bus.
them bird bones.
Left shin. Left shin feels like a good call there, Ryder. Then we got Chris Jericho versus Hook. Okay. Like, all right. For the FTW championship. If Hook loses, he cannot challenge Chris Jericho ever again.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know that I'd want to.
Yeah.
I feel like this match has been. I feel like we've talked. Like I feel like at some point in time, 6 months ago, I've talked about these same matches.
I thought at one time you had told me that Jericho was just going over to AEW to like help people and stuff and didn't really want to be.
That was back when I was a Jericho hopeful. I was hoping that's what he was doing. Jericho needs to take a break. Jericho
ride or
needs to
die.
retire. That was back when I used to think that Jericho. I used to love Jericho, and I thought he's going over there to help out the youth. Nah,
There is a certain point, right? Like as men or women, when your hair starts to get like cringy like that, you cut it.
now on the
It's
flip side,
crinkly.
though, on the
Just
flip side,
saying.
it is impressive that he's able to do what he does.
Oh yeah, like physically and stuff like that. I just want him to cut his hair. I also want AJ Styles to cut his hair.
But I think he could transition into a different role. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he needs to be featured in these matches anymore. Like he could do like a Vince McMahon type thing.
True.
He would be the perfect like heel overseer of a company. Because he's still very good on camera.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I will make the argument. I will always make the argument for his age. He's still impressive for his age.
Yeah, definitely.
Bobby said, "What's wrong with AJ Styles' hair?"
I just something about it. I don't like it. I saw AJ Styles young with like his clean cut hair, and he looked.
She likes
very
guys with no hair.
Demure,
Bobby.
Very.
Bobby, she likes guys with no hair.
It's true. I mean, look, Randy Orton, you know,
Yeah, she's not a big hair person.
very demure.
That's
very
what it is.
cutesy.
Then we've got the Patriarchy versus the Bang Bang Gang and the House
Who
of
is
Black.
the Bang Bang Gang?
I don't know who the Bang Bang Gang is. The Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang.
Bang Bang Gang.
Mugu Guy Band.
versus the House of Black. and versus to be determined for the AEW World Trios Championship.
I know who it is.
Who's it gonna be?
It's Tony and his imaginary friends.
It's the Young Bucks. When they lose their other match, they're gonna come back out and fight for a different title.
Yeah.
And then you have Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii because they had to have one name I can't pronounce on the card.
Is she from New Japan Wrestling?
Is it a girl?
I don't know. Trish
I don't even
Statlander's
know.
not a
I
girl.
don't even know if it's a girl.
Oh.
Real talk, Christian Cage talking about people's fathers is the funniest thing. I don't watch AEW. So Christian Cage is one of my favorite wrestlers of all
Wait,
time.
what happened?
Christian, it's be hard for you to understand. He's just.
I know who Christian is.
No, I know you know who he is, but his whole bit is like being dad to other wrestlers and like calling himself daddy and like it's a whole bit that's going on. And it is good. It is, but once again, it's not on this card.
Daddy.
The thing that we do all find interesting is not on this card.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What is this card? I know none of these names. Yeah, this is all in. Yeah, no, I mean, look, this is the point I tried to make to the guy in Discord was I am not pro AEW. I'm not anti AEW as well. There are things that I like in AEW, but overarchingly, Tony Khan always tends to paint my opinion negatively because he does dumb shit. The fan base, the IWC of AEW completely turned me off to watching their wrestling, and they make it way too fun to take shots at them because they react to so like even this like right talking about this card. There's nothing wrong with this card, but when you overhype it, now you give me the reason to take a pretty good card by wrestling standards, and break it down in a comedic way that goes like, look, this isn't as good as you think it is. Just enjoy it. Just go watch this show.
Don't throw stones, mofo.
Well, stop looking for a fight.
Yeah.
Stop trying. You don't need to go in the Discord. You never need to go in there and say that one or the other company sucks. You can make a joke. It can be lighthearted. Yeah. And what the fuck is a Luchasaurus?
What? What happened?
Wrestling MV goes, what the fuck is a Luchasaurus?
Luchasaurus.
It's AEW, man.
Hey.
They got a giant dinosaur. I mean, if you don't know what a Luchasaurus is, man, go back and watch the Jungle Bitch ride on Luchasaurus'
I'm
shoulders.
going to say something I might get in trouble for.
Nope. No, you're not. I'm serious.
Okay, I won't say it, but just
I'm
know I'm
serious.
thinking
You're getting too comfortable.
Okay? I'm thinking it, and you can infer what I'm thinking.
I have no clue what you're thinking, but no.
Awkward silence.
Nah, I'm reading the chat. Because we're going to close out the show. We're not doing tier makers on Fridays.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tier makers will be reserved for Monday shows.
All right, that sounds exciting.
And then Fridays we'll do That's a Bad Take. And then Tuesdays,
I'm jumping back on the YouTube.
Tuesdays, me and Mike are going to. This was a cool idea. We just kind of came up with this on the fly today. Stop baiting her. She will say it,
guys.
She will
I can't say it. I will say it.
We're live. This is Discord conversation. We should make an adult room in the Discord for like trusted friends of the show.
Wrestling is the only place that one man can blank. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I still don't.
On another man's blank.
I need a tattoo
and
that
it's
says,
not considered
what the fuck is
blank.
a Luchasaurus? We need a shirt. We need a community shirt that says, what the fuck is a Luchasaurus?
That was funny.
That was definitely funny. He caught me mid thought. I saw that.
Not going to lie, though, when we first started watching AEW, I bought into the Luchasaurus. When he stopped riding on that other man's head, I was no longer interested.
No, Jungle Boy rode on Luchasaurus.
That's what I'm saying.
You said when he stopped riding on the man's head.
Jungle Boy. I skipped the part where I was talking about Jungle Boy the whole time.
You skipped the part.
In my head, I said it, but
Now I'm more confused. I am too.
Yeah.
I'm more confused about what you're trying to say.
Rewind it, play it back, and then it could be like, find the clues,
There's no clues. Your brain is a mysterious place.
Full of wonderful things.
All right, but that's all we've got for tonight, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us on Friday and coming to the Casual Wrestling Smackdown after party. As always, you're invited next week to the Raw VIP after party on Monday. That will be live, okay? The Mike and D Hot Take show on Tuesday will be live at 7 o'clock. Then the Nerdy D Kickback on Wednesday, I'm still deciding if that's live or not. I think it's going to be live. But it's exclusive no matter what to being a member of the YouTube channel. So if you want to watch that show, you have to be a member of the channel. You just go on YouTube and it says become a member and it's $2.99 a month and you become a member and that just helps keep the lights on in the studio. That's all. That's all that's for. I'm not trying to become a billionaire, just trying to, pay the air conditioning so I'm not sweating during the show.
You don't want to know how much air conditioning bill was. Just saying. We live in Texas.
It was 109 degrees.
Oh, it was like deathly hot. Like
it was 109 degrees
outside and just like whoosh, Like hell just touched my face.
109, like 100's hot, right?
But it's 109 degrees, but it feels like 175.
Yeah, once it goes over 105, it's just uncomfortable to walk outside.
For sure.
Then we didn't do it this week. I had a lot of shit going on, but we're going to pick back up on the Casual Wrestling Community Block Party on Thursdays. That is going to be a pre-recorded show, but it's going to premiere. And I don't know exactly. It's either going to premiere at 7 or 9. Not sure. I'll figure that out. But it's going to premiere on YouTube. And what that means is I will be in the chat talking about what we're talking about on the show. But that show's going to be pre-recorded so that we can bank a couple of those episodes. And it gets hard. Like on Thursdays, we have things to do. That way we have the ability to throw one of those up if I'm on the road or doing something else.
True.
And then we hope to see you guys back for next week's Friday Night Smackdown after show. But for now, that's all we've got. The party never stops in the Discord. I will add the Discord to the description of this video. If it's not, go back about 3 or 4 videos. It'll be in one of those descriptions. You'll see it's a link to get into the Discord.
All right, sounds good.
Like, share, and comment. And Lauren, you can ring the final bell.
Ding, 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 ding.